Okay, so it seems that there's been a little bit of a situation going on at one of the biggest VTuber conventions ever. I mean, this is Offkai we're talking about today. And obviously, Offkai I've talked about previously for a little bit of drama that they got into, kind of regarding a whole thing with them wanting to check people's IDs and people not being very happy about that, especially considering a lot of the stuff going on in America at the moment. But it seems like a new problem has arisen, which has been kind of funny, due to the fact of it being the smell, which, if you don't know, obviously is a running joke, not just with Offkai, but any like kind of convention to do with like anime, VTubers or whatever. People complain about the smell, or people joke about the smell, even if it doesn't even smell in the first place, and it is honestly a big problem that goes on at conventions. And it seems like Doki Bird has actually been talking about this and talking about the smell that has been at Offkai. I'm not sure if she actually attended or not, but again, obviously I found it quite funny, and let's just watch the video and then go through all of the facts that we know about what has happened at Offkai.
But apparently people were saying about the smell of the convention. and I saw a tweet from someone that was like, FOMO eliminated. I saw that, yeah. And then I thought it was crazy because there was like deodorant being sold at the convention, and like they were apparently sold out by day 2, and I was like, oh my god, wait, that's real? I've never been to a convention where like it would smell that bad. But to be fair, I will admit I have a really bad nose. Like, I actually can't smell very well. So like, unless it's like really, really bad. So for me, IRL, I've only been to like 5 conventions in my entire life. So I've never actually like had an experience where it just didn't smell great. I guess it doesn't help that it's really, really hot too during the summer, especially in like where is it, in California? I assume it's really hot in California right now because it's like, what's that Katy Perry song? That is like my only California girls. That's my only reference to California. It seemed really hot in that.
So yeah, that's essentially the whole clip. I mean, she goes on to get LA confused with California, which I thought was quite funny. But essentially, yeah, the stench was pretty bad there, and I think it was a very big conversation at Offkai, and as I said, there was this whole drama surrounding it, which is what everyone was talking about whenever it came to Offkai, but that quickly switched as soon as everybody started going there. And well, obviously one of these things that kind of blew up, especially over on Twitter, was this one tweet from this person saying people are so stinky, they are turning them away from the room parties. And it's from this person, I'm guessing they run the room parties and stuff like that, say, hey everyone, Offkai party floor staff here. We want to ensure a clean and comfortable environment for all attendees. As such, please be aware that you may be denied access to parties on the party floor if you're not wearing deodorant or practicing good hygiene. Thanks and have a great time. Remember to stay hydrated. Which is crazy because obviously, you hear so many jokes about it and you think there is no way that someone can be like this unclean whenever it comes to conventions like this. But, this is actually a reality. There are people turning up to conventions, not having showered in like weeks, and also, not using any deodorant or anything, and it absolutely stinks. I've been to a couple of conventions, and I went to one recently over in London, which you guys probably saw on Twitter, and essentially, it wasn't the worst of smells, but sometimes you would get that one person who just walks past you, and you're just like, oh my god, bro, like, what the hell? And obviously, I feel like, with the absolute size of Offkai and stuff like that, I feel like it would be even worse at a place like that. And I can definitely tell why people were not happy with the fact that this is happening. Mugen even commented on this saying, bro, like, how is this a problem every single year? Is deodorant a rare commodity for VTuber fans or something? And I even, like, responded to this being like, hey, we should definitely make, like a VTuber collabed thing, or like an anime collabed thing, so that they would just buy it, And obviously, someone actually went ahead and doing this, which is absolutely crazy. They made this one, which is like a Hatsune Miku, like a deodorant, which I thought was hilarious, because the only way that you can get these people to actually smell good is by doing some kind of collaboration with their favorite you know, kind of thing, whether that's Hatsune Miku or a VTuber or whatever, which I think is crazy. And these actually sold out as well, by the way, which was crazy. A lot of these sold out, and there's a lot of areas that were selling similar things like this that were themed to certain things just to make people use it in the first place, which is crazy that they even need to sell this in the first place at an event like this. You know, people should be bringing their own. People should be, you know, making sure that they are clean themselves. And obviously, as you know, just deodorant doesn't fix everything, but I guess it makes it a little bit better for some people out there. But I think it's absolutely crazy that this was one of the main talking points from Offkai. You know, the main talking point from Offkai wasn't some big event that happened with a VTuber, a big announcement maybe, or maybe something to do with the stuff as I mentioned before. It was the fact that people did not clean, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And obviously, we got even more stuff like this as well. People were making memes. This is the one that Doki Bird was talking about, which was FOMO obliterated, saying, seeing multiple people talk about the smell of Offkai is like, oh, like all the FOMO from this event is gone, because I would not want to be there myself either, which, yeah, is crazy. And obviously, yeah, people said OG post is from AX, but I've seen so many people tweet that this con was the worst smelling one they've attended so far, which is crazy, by the way. You know, I don't think Offkai is even one of the biggest, like, Offkai is a big convention, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as big as places like AX and places like that. I feel like AX has much more people attending in terms of, yeah, just people there in general. So I would like kind of, you know, hedge my bets on that would smell worse, but damn, this being one of the worst smelling ones they've been to, and it's not even like as big as these ones, that's crazy. You know, I asked someone about the smell and it wasn't that bad. And it wasn't bad, but if you heard it say, sorry, if you've heard it's bad, and a lot of people say it is, then the person I asked, he said, if you search for Offkai smell, Offkai body odor, there's a lot of tweets. And yeah, I even searched up earlier, like trying to bring up some of these tweets. I literally just put in Offkai into the search thing, and it literally, in the search terms, went Offkai, and then underneath Offkai was Offkai smell. Like this is like the second like most search, second highest search, like kind of, you know, oh, you might like this because other people are liking it kind of thing. It's Offkai smell, which is crazy. And obviously people saying I was in the crowd somewhere and I've had more complaints about Offkai smell than AX23. Said my sister also said that the multiple AXs she attended in the past were also pretty damn bad. I can't imagine. It said the smell stories from last year alone deterred me from going this year. I said I didn't know it was also that bad last year. You know, they told me the elevators stunk so bad when you walked in. He said, why does this poster reek of sour grapes? Which, again, is crazy. And obviously, I mean, I think it's just one of those things where people just need to learn to have a wash sometimes. And obviously, it makes a pretty bad look for VTuber fans and just anime fans in general. Because obviously, you know, they have this bad rep of, you know, not washing and things like that. But then whenever you got people like this going into like these conventions and then this kind of exploding into a big thing of it absolutely stinks here, it doesn't really help out the reputation of the people that actually do try and actually you know, do just have a wash, which again I think is just a very common thing that everyone should do. Like, this is like kind of crazy. You should even be saying this in the first place to some people, because it just doesn't really cross minds of like a lot of these like really weird you know, fans. But hey, you know, I don't think it's anything too terrible. Obviously, I know a lot of people joking about it and things, so I think it's not the end of the world. But I do think for the future of like a, you know, just to make the event better for other people and just everyone there, I feel like, you know, it would be safer if you just, you know, had a wash before you went to Offkai or whatever kind of convention you're attending. I know Anime Expo is coming up as well, so definitely make sure, yeah, you do that before that, which again, as I said, is crazy that I'm saying that in the first place. But yeah, I feel like this is just one of these situations which I thought was just really funny to talk about, because again, this has been exploding all over my feed lately in the VTuber community, and also obviously Doki Bird talking about it on her stream. I think Doki did attend Offkai, but I don't know if they did it like virtually or like in person. I'm not sure, but it's very interesting. And obviously, yeah, that's pretty much all the news coming from Offkai recently, and that's pretty much the only news coming from Offkai, by the way. I mean, you know, there hasn't really been much else in terms of announcements or something like that, which has been pretty crazy. And the worst thing to talk about is the stench. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. You know, I'm very interested in what you guys think about this situation. And yeah, go to GameStop, use my code Kazakh, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So, see ya.